Hey everybody, it's Eric from epautos.com, your Libertarian car guy, and I'm going to do a little video here just to show you something that I found that I thought was interesting, and you might think is interesting as well, using my trusty 70s Trans Am, 76 Trans Am actually, as point A, and then I'm going to show you point B, which is the brand new Dodge Challenger that I have outside. It's startling to see how heavy the new cars are relative to even a 70s muscle car like this, which in its time was considered a big, beefy, overweight car. This car weighs about 3,800 pounds, a little less. The Challenger, believe it or not, weighs 4,200 pounds, which is astonishing, particularly when you start to look closely at the car and notice some of the differences. First, I'm going to start out with the Trans Am and show you some things. Now, bear with me, I'm going to have to put this down because I only have two hands. Okay, here is the hood for my 76 Trans Am, and it's something that you can barely lift with one hand. I mean, it is a big old honk, and look at how thick that is. Big piece of steel. Big piece of steel. And look at these big, meaty hinges with big springs that hold that big hunk of slab of steel on the car. That's a hunk of metal. Also, these fenders, very thick, very thick. Now look over here and look at the width of, this is the A-pillar on the car. I wonder if I've got my tape measure handy here. We'll take a look at something. This will be even more interesting. Just thought of this as I'm going. Bear with me, I'm not a professional videographer. All right, so it's about 2 inches thick, okay? Frame of reference, 2 inches there. That's the A-pillar. It holds up the windshield and the roof of the car. And here's the sail panel or the C-pillar on this car. Again, all of the metal on this car, very interesting in comparison to what I'm about to show you on the other car. Let's have a look outside and I'll show you what I mean. I need a bigger garage. I had too many things in here. All right. Okay, here's the big Challenger. 4,200 pounds, right? Let's pop the hood. Now look how easily, look at that, one finger, open it up, look at that. And it's just these two little flimsy gas struts that hold the thing up. And look how, it's almost literally paper thin. Now look, I don't want to screw up the thing, but I literally, no exaggeration for editorial license here, I literally could bend this thing with my bare hands. That's how thin it is. Same thing with these fenders. Look, I'll even flex this a little bit. Look at that. Look. That's how thin this is. I don't know how many millimeters it is, but it is thin. But now look at these big A-pillars. Look how big that A-pillar is. Let's get out the tape measure and see how thick it is. All right, this is 3 inches, so it's at least an inch thicker now. And this sail panel here, again, thick as heck. And probably inside the car, let's look at some of the other elements of it. The steel that's inside the car, that's probably where you'll find the preponderance of the weight and bulk in this thing, because this car has to comply with all of the current federal bumper impact standards, including things like side impact standards, the T-bone standard from that way, and rear end impacts and all of that. And that's why this thing weighs as much as it does, and yet it's very fragile in a lot of ways. This thing, if it gets into a fairly minor accident, there is nothing to protect this front clip here at all. This is some kind of a rubber material probably. There probably is a bumper under that, but I guarantee you, if you get into a minor fender bender in this thing, this is going to crumple up, that's going to crumple up, and I guess it's designed to do that, hence the term crumple zone. But it also means you're going to be paying a bunch of money to get this thing fixed, even in a relatively minor accident. There's an interesting kind of a catch-22 or conflicting goals from Uncle's point of view. Uncle wants cars to be very fuel efficient, but he wants cars also to pass these increasingly stringent safety tests. And the problem is you can't do both of those things, at least not within economic reason. In order to make these cars capable of passing the crashworthiness standards, they have to bulk them up, which usually means more steel. You can make a car really safe using exotic materials. Race cars use those, but of course race cars cost hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. And this is a production car, and you can't do that with a production car. Well, and the other side of it is, if you want a car to be very fuel efficient, well, it's got to be very light. So we're at cross purposes now. Uncle can't seem to make up his mind. At any rate, I'm going to do a rant about this, and it should be up on the site shortly, epautos.com. The web's only, as far as I know, libertarian-oriented cars, bikes, and politics site. Thanks for viewing, and we will catch up with you on the flip.